We're speaking with Michael Zuckerman, Executive Director of Whitestone Realty Capital. Mr. Zuckerman is a practicing New York attorney and one of the leading experts in commercial real estate law and finance, including the complex structures of the new market tax credits and historic tax credits programs. Michael, there's been a good deal of interest on the EB5 visa program. Whitestone Realty Capital is involved in that program on behalf of non-U.S. citizens. How does that work?
Okay. We are involved in 8 or 9 different projects where we have worked out arrangements with an EB5 syndicator. And the way EB5 works is people who are in foreign countries want to secure green cards. And there is a special program developed by the United States Immigration Service whereby if a project is in what's called a targeted employment area or it's in a rural area, then investors are allowed to invest in projects in those targeted employment areas or rural areas. And if the project has If the investor is going to put in $500,000, he has to generate at least 10 jobs with that $500,000. So, for example, a targeted employment area is an area in which the census tract has an employment rate in excess of 150% of the national average. So, for example, if the national average today is 8.5%, that means that the employment rate in the particular census tract has to be 12.75%. There are many of these census tracts all over the country. They frequently are similar to those census tracts that qualify as low-income communities under the new market tax credit rules. States have particular people in the State Department of Labor that determine whether, in fact, a particular location or a particular census tract is a targeted employment area. If it is a targeted employment area, then the project qualifies. Then you go out and you have to secure a syndicator or someone who has the ability to raise the money from some foreign land to invest in the United States. There's another thing that's required as well. Besides being in a targeted employment area, the federal government has set up something that is called regional centers. And unless you are in a regional center, you may not be able to secure the money. When a project has a job count, and the best thing I could give you is, let's just assume that we're going to have a senior housing project that has 100 apartments. And let's assume that that senior housing project has 50 assisted living projects, 50 assisted living units, and 50 independent living units. So its direct job count would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 direct jobs. If you're in a regional center, you're allowed to count not only the direct jobs, but those jobs that are created by the particular project. They're called induced jobs. So in a regional center, generally, if there's 75 direct jobs, you go get an economic study, and you will find that there are at least 75 additional jobs, so that in fact that project has 150 jobs. 150 jobs means that conceivably you could secure $7.5 million, $500,000 for every 10 jobs.
So Whitestone Realty Capital is intimately involved in the EB5 visa program. How much money does a foreign national have to invest in order to be eligible for that program?
There are 2 different ways that they can do it. They can invest $500,000 for 10 jobs if they're in a regional center or they're in a targeted employment area. If they're not in a regional center and or a targeted employment area or a rural area, then it's $1 million for every 10 jobs. There are very few investors who will invest $1 million because they can get the visa for $500,000, so it's almost impossible to secure $1 million investments. So what happens is there are many investors who want to secure jobs, and the way the program works is you put up your $500,000, you get a temporary visa for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, you get a permanent visa as long as the project has been developed and you can prove to the immigration service that there are in fact 10 jobs for every $500,000 invested. Once that happens, then you get a permanent visa for, and at the end of 5 years, you have to invest for a period of 5 years. At the end of 5 years, the money is returned to the investor.
That sounds like an excellent opportunity for foreign nationals seeking permanent status in the United States, permanent residency in the United States.
Correct.
Whitestone Realty Capital is central to this program. Foreign nationals and their advisors are well advised to seek out the expertise of Michael Zuckerman. Contact Mike Zuckerman at Whitestone Realty Capital at whitestonerealty.com.